The wind was cold and dry. Dust moved across the broken roads. The sky was gray, and the trees were dead. Nothing felt alive anymore. Jackson walked alone. He wore a dark jacket and carried a small backpack. His boots were old and cracked. His eyes tired. He had seen too much. The world had changed. Years of war had destroyed cities. People fought over food, water, and power. Jackson didn't trust anyone now. He stayed far away from towns and cities. I can't stand humans anymore, he said quietly to himself. He used to believe in kindness. He used to believe people could change, but not anymore. Now he only believed in silence and survival. He walked through an empty field. The sun was low in the sky. He planned to find a safe place before dark. The night was dangerous. Suddenly the ground shook. Jackson stopped. He looked up. A bright light shot across the sky. It was fast, burning, and silent. Then it crashed into the forest just ahead. Boom. The sound was loud. Birds flew into the sky. Smoke rose above the trees. Jackson stood still. What was that? It was not a plane, not a bomb. It was something different. Something strange. His heart beat faster. He wanted to run away, but his feet moved forward. He entered the forest. The smoke was thick. The trees were broken, and the air smelled like fire and metal. He moved carefully, step by step. Then he saw it, a small silver ship half buried in the dirt. It was glowing, cracked, and shaped like a smooth triangle. It did not look human-made. Jackson's eyes went wide. Is this real? The ship hissed, steam escaping from the sides. Lights blinked in soft blue and green, and then something moved inside. Jackson raised his guard. He picked up a metal pipe from the ground. Slowly he walked closer to the ship's door, which was half open. Inside he saw her, a girl, not human. Her skin was smooth and light purple. Her hair was silver and floating like it was underwater. Her body was thin, glowing softly. She wore a strange black suit, covered in symbols. Her eyes were closed. Jackson was frozen. He had never seen anything like her. She looked peaceful but also hurt. A small screen blinked near her hand. It showed red warnings and strange letters. She was losing energy. Fast. Jackson stepped inside the ship. He didn't know why. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was something else. He bent down beside her. Hey, can you hear me? Her eyes opened slowly. They were bright blue, glowing, not scary, just different. She looked at him, really looked, as if she saw his whole life in 1 second. Then she spoke, but not with her mouth. Her voice entered his mind. I want you. Jackson's heart stopped for a moment. What? He whispered. Her lips didn't move, but he felt her words again. You are the one I need. Then she closed her eyes. Her body stopped glowing. No, stay awake, Jackson said, shaking her shoulder. He looked around the ship. He saw a box with a red symbol. He opened it. Inside were small tubes filled with glowing blue liquid. He didn't know what it was, but it looked important. He picked one and held it near her. Suddenly, the ship's lights turned red. A loud voice echoed from the ship. Tracking signal activated. Enemies approaching. Jackson's eyes went wide. What the hell is going on? The ship began to shake again. He had to make a choice. Leave her here, or take her with him. He looked at her face. Even unconscious, she looked peaceful, almost like she was sleeping. I don't know who you are, but I'm not leaving you, he said. He lifted her in his arms. She was lighter than a human. He ran out of the ship. Into the dark forest. Behind him, the ship made a deep humming noise. The light grew brighter. Then, in 1 second, boom, the ship exploded. Jackson fell to the ground, holding her tight. Silence returned. He looked at the girl in his arms. She was still breathing. He didn't know what she was or why she chose him, but he had a feeling this was only the beginning. The night was quiet again, but Jackson's heart was not. He carried the alien girl through the trees, careful not to drop her. She was light, almost too light, like carrying a dream. Her skin still gave off a soft purple glow, but it was fading slowly. Every few minutes he looked down, hoping to see her eyes open again. He had no idea where to go, except home. His home was not really a home, just an old underground bunker outside the city ruins. It was hidden under a burned gas station. Nobody came near it anymore. That's why he chose it. After walking for over an hour, tired and sore, Jackson reached the entrance. He pressed a hidden button under a broken sign. The metal door unlocked with a hiss. Inside, the place was cold and dark. Jackson laid her down gently on a mattress made from old blankets. A broken lamp flickered above her face. He stared at her. Was she? What did I want you mean? Why him? She didn't look dangerous, but she didn't look safe either. He looked at the small blue tube he took from her ship. It still glowed. Maybe it could help her. He placed it near her chest. Suddenly, the black suit she wore reacted. A small part opened near her shoulder, like it was alive. He inserted the tube. The liquid inside flowed into her veins. She gasped. Her body jerked. Her eyes opened wide, bright blue again, glowing in the dark. Jackson stepped back. Hey, calm down. It's okay. You're safe now. She looked around quickly, her hands glowing slightly, as if ready to fight. Then, She looked at him, her body relaxed. You took me from the crash. Jackson blinked. Her mouth didn't move. He heard her voice again in his mind. Yeah, he said. You said you wanted me. There was silence between them for a few seconds. Then she nodded slowly. Yes, you are him. Jackson sat down on a chair across the room. Him who she touched the side of her head. A small round device appeared from her suit. It floated in the air, spinning. The room filled with soft blue light. A hologram appeared in the center, a giant map of stars and planets. She pointed to one far away. My world. The map zoomed in. Her planet was green, beautiful, full of light. Then the map changed. Earth appeared, but not how Jackson knew it. In the image, Earth was red, covered in black clouds, fires, and weapons in space. This is your future, she said. Jackson frowned. No, that already happened. The wars are done. She shook her head slowly. No, worse is coming. The galaxy watchers, they have seen what humans do. My kind chose not to help, but I came anyway. He stared at the floating images. Why? She looked directly at him. Because of you. He laughed a little, confused me. Why would aliens care about a guy living alone in a bunker? She floated the device closer to him. It scanned his body. A circle appeared around his chest. Your energy, your mind, it is different. Jackson's smile faded. I'm not different. I'm just tired. Tired of people. Tired of lies. I hate what the world became. Zirilo, her name came into his mind like a whisper, stood up weakly. That's why you're different. You see the truth. You feel the pain. You can change the ending. Jackson looked down. Change the ending. He had stopped trying to change anything long ago. Before he could speak, a loud beep came from her device. She turned sharply. Her glow changed now, bright and sharp. They're coming, she said. I broke the rule. They will come for me. Who? Jackson asked. Zarella answered in one word that felt heavy in his mind. Hunters. The hologram changed again. 3 black ships flying through space. Fast, sharp, deadly. They hunt me, and anyone who helps me. Jackson stood up. Well, that's just great. He walked to a drawer and pulled out a small blaster. Old tech, but it worked. I don't know what you pulled me into, but I'm guessing there's no easy way out. Zarella looked at him. Double quotes. No, but there is a reason you survived this long. I believe in that reason. He looked into her glowing eyes, then out at the door. A strange feeling crept into his chest. For the first time in years, he wasn't just surviving. He was part of something bigger, and it had only just begun. The night didn't end. It only grew deeper. Outside, the wind had picked up. Leaves danced in circles, whispering through the broken trees. Inside the bunker, Jackson sat across from Zarella, watching her. She was quiet now, but alert, every sense sharpened. She didn't blink much. Her eyes scanned the walls, the ceiling, even the air, as if danger could arrive through nothing. He finally spoke. So, you're not just here for sightseeing. Zarella's voice entered his mind like a calm ripple. I'm here because your world is close to ending, and because you might be the reason it doesn't. Jackson scoffed. I don't even trust my own kind. Why would the galaxy? Her gaze softened. You think doubt makes you weak. It doesn't. It means your eyes are open. Jackson stood up and walked to a small shelf of old tech and broken radios. His hands moved as if he was looking for something, but his mind was far away. I don't get it, he muttered. You're saying humans are being watched? Yes, she replied. For a long time. He turned to face her. Then why didn't anyone do anything while we destroyed each other, while the sky turned black, while we begged for help? She looked down. For the first time, her voice carried sadness. Because your species was not trusted. The council believed Earth was beyond saving. I believed differently. And you came alone. She nodded. I wasn't supposed to. There was silence again, heavy and strange. Then Jackson leaned forward, voice lower. You said something about my energy. What does that mean? Zarella stood slowly. A glowing line of symbols appeared along her wrist. She touched one. A small blue light floated between them like a star. This is a fragment of what we call the thread. Every being has it. Yours is different, strong, unstable, but powerful. He stared at the floating light. It pulsed gently, and he could feel something inside him respond to it, like a heartbeat behind his ribs that wasn't his own. This thread connects your mind and body in a way most humans do not have. It can change things, influence, unlock things. He took a step back. You mean powers? No, not like a weapon, like a bridge. Jackson frowned. A bridge to what? To understanding, to peace, to war, if necessary. Could connect two sides that have never spoken. He shook his head slowly. I'm not that person. I'm just some guy who quit on people. She looked at him, unblinking and still. You saved me. The blue light faded. Jackson didn't say anything outside. A deep hum began low, far away, like thunder rolling under the ground. Zarella's eyes changed instantly. Her skin brightened. She moved toward the door and placed her hand near the metal. Her suit lit up, showing a pattern that wrapped around her arm like living ink. They are here. Jackson stepped up beside her. The hunters. Yes, 2 ships, maybe 3. They followed the signal from my crash. He pulled his old blaster from the table. Can we hide? Zarella shook her head. They don't need to search. They already know where I am. Jackson looked at her closely. Can you fight them? Her face turned hard. I can try. He had only known her for one night. She wasn't human, not even close. But something about her felt more honest than anything he'd seen in years. Maybe that's why his next words surprised even him. Then we fight. Zarella looked at him silent still. Then she reached toward her belt and removed a small black sphere. It unfolded in her hand, becoming a thin silver disc. Put this on your chest. Jackson hesitated. What does it do? It protects from what? She looked out into the night. From everything. He pressed the disc to his shirt. It sank in like liquid metal, and he felt a sudden rush through his skin. Zarella placed her hand on the door. It slid open slowly, revealing the forest, dark, quiet, too quiet. Then from above 3 red lights appeared in the sky. Jackson stared. Upward. Are those? Yes, the ships dropped lower silently then. Something unexpected happened. Zarella stepped out from the doorway. Her arms lifted. The air around her shimmered like heat from a flame. Her voice, calm but powerful, entered Jackson's mind. I broke the rule. Now I break another. I won't run. Jackson followed. 3 ships hovered like birds of prey, and down below, under the dead trees and gray sky, stood a human and an alien girl side by side. No more hiding. The storm was coming, and Jackson was done standing still. The light from the ships above was cold and red, moving slowly through the night sky like searching eyes. The forest, so quiet just moments ago, now held its breath. Even the wind had stopped. Jackson stood beside Zarella, his grip tightened around the blaster in his hand, though he wasn't sure if it would help. Part of him still didn't believe any of this was real, but the noise from above the deep, unnatural hum was too real to ignore. The hunters were here. Zarella stepped forward, her glowing suit reacting to the presence of the ships. A soft ring of light formed around her feet, then climbed up her body, like armor waking from sleep. She didn't look afraid. Jackson looked up again. The ships weren't attacking yet. They hovered like they were watching, waiting for what? One of them moved lower. From beneath it, a shape dropped through the air, a figure tall and thin, armored in black, with a sharp face and glowing red eyes. It didn't fall. It floated, slowly, like it was descending from another world. When it landed, the ground cracked slightly under its feet. The figure looked first at Zarella, then at Jackson. Its voice was sharp and metallic. Zarella of Lyrian, you broke the law. Return the thread, candidate, or be erased. Jackson whispered, nice to meet you too. Zarella's voice was steady. Inside Jackson's mind, do not speak to it. It will scan your voice, your thoughts. The hunter tilted its head, almost amused. Too late. Zarella moved fast. A beam of violet light shot from her palm, hitting the hunter directly in the chest. It staggered back, but only for a second. Then it raised one hand and fired. A bolt of red light flew straight toward her. Jackson jumped in front of her without thinking. The bolt hit him in the chest, but instead of pain, he felt something else. Heat, pressure, then nothing. The silver disc Zarella gave him pulsed once, then dissolved the energy into the air. He stood there, alive. Zarella's eyes widened slightly. The shield worked. Jackson looked at his hands. Felt like a punch from a truck. The hunter moved again, faster this time. Zarella raised both arms, and the air around her shimmered. A wall of light formed between them and the attacker. The red blasts hit it and disappeared like sparks in rain. Another hunter dropped from a second ship, then another. 3 in total now. They were closing in. Zarella turned to Jackson. You need to run. He stared at her. I didn't come this far to run. You're not ready. I wasn't ready for any of this, he said, but I'm here. So what now? Zarella looked at the disc on his chest. There's something inside you, something that responds to the thread. You must feel it. Let it guide you. Jackson didn't know what she meant, but somewhere under his fear, under the confusion, there was something, a pull, like a voice without words trying to rise. He stepped forward, past Zarella. The 3 hunters raised their weapons. Jackson raised his hand. For a moment, just one, he imagined. The red energy stopping, turning, breaking apart, and then it happened. The air cracked. The blasters exploded in their hands before they could fire. 2 hunters were thrown backward by the shock. The third looked confused, its red eyes flickering. Zarella's voice in his mind was filled with quiet wonder. He activated it. Jackson blinked. I didn't mean to. You believed something, she said. Even for a second. That's enough. The remaining hunter hissed, metal and fury. It launched itself toward him, blade forming in its hand, but Zarella was already moving. She met it mid-air. Their bodies clashed in a storm of light and sound. Her blade, pure energy, grew from her arm. They moved too fast for Jackson to follow, like a blur of stars crashing. When it ended, the hunter dropped to the ground. Motionless, Zarella stood, breathing hard. We must leave. More will come. Jackson looked down at the still-burning body. How many more? Zarella didn't answer. She simply looked at the stars. Enough to erase a planet. Jackson felt the cold air again, but something had changed. Not outside. Inside him. A door had opened, and he didn't know how to close it now. He followed her into the forest, heart beating faster, mindful of noise. He wasn't sure where they were going, but for the first time in his life, he knew why. The forest stretched ahead like a shadow that had forgotten how to end. Jackson moved through the trees behind Zerella, the ground soft beneath his boots. His heart beat louder than his footsteps. He didn't ask where they were going. He knew she'd tell him when it mattered. For now the stars above shifted slowly, watching them in silence. She walked like she belonged to another kind of gravity, never too fast, never tired, always aware of things he couldn't see. What happened back there, he finally said. I didn't understand it. Zerella didn't stop walking. You didn't need to, you felt it. That was enough. He frowned, brushing branches out of his way. He keeps saying that like it explains anything. She paused near a fallen tree, placed a hand on the bark, and closed her eyes. A soft glow moved through her fingers. The tree responded. It opened, not like wood, but like memory being unlocked. Inside was a small silver ring, floating in the air. She took it. Jackson just stared. How long have you been here? I prepared a long time ago, she answered. I didn't know when, or if I'd find you, but I knew I would need help. She handed the ring to him. It was warm, not metal, not plastic. Something else, live, almost. It pulsed faintly when he touched it. What is this? A door, she said. To a place you've never seen. He didn't ask more questions. She pressed the ring against a stone on the forest floor. The ground trembled. Then, space itself bent like a curtain being pulled back, and behind it, another world. Jackson blinked. The sky was no longer black, but painted with two suns and green clouds. Mountains floated above rivers of gold light. Trees hummed. Flowers responded to their footsteps. The air smelled of something sweet and clean and completely unknown. Zerella looked at him. This is my memory. My home, a fragment of it, stored in the ring. Jackson walked forward slowly, like stepping into someone else's dream. He saw tall towers in the distance shining, alive, singing. Children played near a stream that glittered with glowing stones. No machines, no smoke, no fear. This was real. It still is, she said softly, but we're losing it. My people have grown afraid. Cold, we left your kind behind a long time ago. We forgot that change begins with risk. He turned to her. Then why come back for us? Her answer was almost a whisper. Because I still believe in one. She touched a small panel hidden in the grass, and a projection rose in front of them. Earth-burning. Warships circling above. Its cities turned to dust. The same future she had shown him before. But now it was clearer. And this time he saw himself in the center of it, older, wounded, standing between two armies. I don't understand this, he said. Why would I be there? I'm no leader. You are a spark, she replied. You carry what others buried out. Yes, but also belief that makes you dangerous to the wrong people and powerful to the right ones. He looked away. The image of his older self haunted him, brave, tired, alone. Zerella stepped closer. You said you hate humans, but you still protect them. That's what the thread saw in you. He closed his eyes. And in the silence something strange happened. He remembered a day long ago, before the wars, when he was just a boy. Sitting in a shelter, watching his mother argue with soldiers. She was crying. They wanted her to leave, to give up her place. She refused, and Jackson remembered what she told him that night. Even if the world forgets how to care, you don't have to. He opened his eyes. I'm tired of waiting, he said. Zerella nodded. Then we start. The sky above them shifted. The suns blinked out. The memory world was ending as they stepped back through the invisible door. Back into the forest, Jackson felt different, not stronger, but more awake. Zerella turned to him. We have one chance, she said. There is a place beneath your earth, a forgotten vault. The council left something there long ago, something powerful. Let me guess, he said. It only works with me. She didn't smile, but her eyes said yes. Then, far above, a new sound filled the air. More ships, not red, not black. Different. Something else had found them. Something not from her world. Jackson gripped the ring in his hand. The memory of her planet still alive in his mind. Whatever came next, he knew he couldn't turn back now, because something inside him had finally chosen to believe. The sky didn't just darken, it tightened. The silence that followed wasn't quiet. It was full, charged. The trees no longer swayed. Even the wind, once wild and careless, seemed to retreat. Jackson stared upward, watching the new shapes arrive through the clouds. These ships were not like the hunters. They didn't scream power or threat. They moved slowly, almost with purpose. Smooth, silent, long, like wings stretched across the sky. Zerella didn't speak at first. She just stood still, eyes fixed on the sky like she was trying to recognize an old face in a crowd. There early, she finally said. Jackson kept watching, who she lowered her voice not in fear but reverence. The council. He turned to her, confused. The same council that refused to help Earth. She nodded. They don't come often. Only to witness endings or beginnings. He didn't like the sound of that. The ships above didn't land. They hovered, waiting, measuring. Zerella touched her wrist. A new path opened beneath the forest floor. A staircase made of light carving its way down into the ground like it had always been there, just hidden beneath dirt and time. No more delays, she said. We go now. Jackson didn't question it. He followed her into the glowing stairway, the entrance closing above them as soon as their feet left the soil. The descent was quiet. No echo, no breath. It felt less like walking and more like falling into memory. Walls made of smooth stone turned silver as they passed. Old symbols glowed softly, one after another as if waking up from a long sleep. Jackson touched one without meaning to. A spark passed through his fingertips, not pain, not heat, just knowledge. He saw flashes, humans standing beside beings like Zirilla before the wars, before even history, a time forgotten. You knew us, he whispered. Zirilla nodded. We walked beside your kind once, shared sky and sea, until greed grew stronger than wonder. He didn't ask why they left. Maybe they had the right to, but now they had returned. At the bottom of the stairway was a circular chamber, silver and wide. In the center stood a pedestal. Above it, suspended in the air, was a dark crystal. It didn't glow, it didn't move, but it pulled everything toward it like silence given shape. Zirilla stepped forward. This is what they left behind. The vault thread. Jackson didn't move. What does it do? It reacts to only one thing, she said, turning to face him. Truth. He raised an eyebrow. Whose truth? Yours. He approached slowly. The closer he got, the heavier the air became, not like weight, but like memory pressing in from all sides. The crystal spun once. Sensing him, Zirilla placed a hand over her heart. It will either reject you or bind with you. He wasn't ready, but he stepped forward anyway. The moment his hand touched it, everything vanished. No light, no sound, no Zirilla, just space and himself. But not only himself, he saw himself as a child, angry, quiet, hiding from fights he couldn't stop. He saw himself walking away from people who begged for hope. He saw his fear, his rage, his guilt, but he also saw something else. Moments where he chose kindness, when no one saw it. The time he shared food with a stranger who robbed him an hour. Later, the time he dragged a wounded man across a battlefield because he couldn't stand his screaming. The time he let someone go, even when the rules said to shoot. Little things, forgotten things, but the crystal had seen them. It began to glow. The chamber returned. Zirilla stood still, but her expression had changed, like someone watching a miracle they never expected. You passed, she said softly. Jackson looked down. The crystal was gone. Its light now pulsed in his chest. It chose me, he said, the words strange in his own mouth. No, she corrected. You chose you. Above them, the ground shook. The hunters had arrived. The council ships moved lower. Everything was coming together, too fast. Now Zirilla placed a hand on his shoulder. You have one choice left, she said. Escape this world with me or stay and show them something they've forgotten. He didn't speak. Not yet, because inside his chest, where the crystal lived now, a storm had begun to spin, and it wasn't done growing. The earth above them cracked like bone under pressure. Dust drifted down from the ceiling of the chamber in slow, careful threads. The hum of the vault thread pulsed deep inside Jackson's chest, now steady, alive, waiting. Zirilla didn't look afraid. She looked ready. Her body stood tall, still wrapped in silver light. Her eyes, always glowing, now burned steady like twin moons. She had placed a hand on the wall minutes ago and whispered a message in a language Jackson didn't understand. Now all they could do was wait. The council had not spoken. The hunters had not stopped. And Jackson, he had not decided. His pulse had become the room's heartbeat. He could feel the vault's power moving through him like a question still forming. It didn't offer him orders, no clear path, just presence, possibility, like standing at the edge of a cliff and knowing you could jump or build wings. Zip turned to him without speaking. Her expression wasn't calm anymore. It was full of hope, of grief, of time. They are coming to destroy what they don't understand, she said. That is always how it begins. Jackson moved toward the spiral ramp that would lead them back to the surface. And how does it end? That depends on whether you speak or stay silent. He didn't answer. Not with words. Up above, the sky had changed. The council ships had opened. They hovered in a perfect circle, beams of quiet blue light stretching down to the earth like threads being lowered, not weapons, not warnings. Witnesses. And across the horizon, black flames fell. Hunter ships, dozens of them, moving like a storm born from code and metal and old decisions. Jackson stepped out into the light. The first hunter to land pointed a weapon at him, the long barrel humming with pure red charge. Return the vault energy, it said, voice empty. This is your final order. Jackson didn't flinch. No, it tilted its head. You will be erased. Zirilla walked beside him, eyes locked on the machines. Not today. More hunters landed. They encircled them slowly, as if even they weren't sure what Jackson had become. His presence confused them, threatened them. He wasn't weaponized, but he was chosen. And that changed everything. Then one of the council ships sent a ripple. Across the air, a voice, not a sound, but a thought entered every living mind in range. Speak. Jackson looked up. And for the first time, the words came from deep within. Not from anger, not from pain, but from the fire that had been building all his life. You abandoned this planet because we were broken. he said, voice louder than he expected, but you forget who broke it and who tried to fix it. The hunters began to shift, restless. I'm not asking for your help, he continued. I'm showing you proof that we are more than what we've destroyed. That belief can survive even when everything else doesn't. He raised a hand. The vault thread responded. A wave of soft white light pushed outward from him in a circle. It didn't burn, it didn't hurt, it illuminated. The trees healed where it touched. The air cleared and the hunters one by one froze. Their weapons dropped. Their systems failed. Not by force, by understanding. They could no longer read him as a threat. He was outside their code now. They were built for war. He had become something else above. The council ships dimmed, and then one by one they turned, not away, not in retreat, not in recognition. The beams of light retracted, signal passed between stars, one that would travel to 1,000 worlds. Earth had changed, not because of power, not because of technology, but because one man, tired, broken, stubborn, to stop believing. Zarella stood quietly beside him as the forest breathed again. She didn't smile, but her hand found his. You showed them, she said. Jackson looked at the sky, where the last council ship disappeared behind clouds lit by a new morning. I didn't do it for them, he said. She turned to him. Then who? He looked at her, and this time, he said it out loud. For you. The vault crystal pulsed once in his chest, then faded to a quiet glow. The war was over. The future had begun, and in the quiet that followed, no one spoke of heroes, just choices, and the one who made them.